This is going to be a quick overview of stem and leaf plots. A stem and leaf plot is not a plot that you'll see very often, but it still might show up somewhere, probably on your state testing you'll see it, and it can actually be helpful if you're trying to record lots of numbers. So this is actually two stem and leaf plots. This is one stem and leaf plot and a second stem and leaf plot. There's one for each class. The things that you'll notice is that, so this is for test scores, and the reason it's called a stem and leaf plot is because these numbers are actually the beginnings of these numbers. It's kind of a combination. You have to actually combine these to figure out what the score is. So, for example, since these are test scores, these are actually all out of 100. So, how you read this is that the first part, the stem, is the first part of the number, and the leaf is the second part of the number. So, this actually, right here, this is showing 49, because it would be a 4. It would be like 4, and then the 9. This is helpful because it easily lets you combine, record lots and lots of different numbers without having to write the whole number over and over and over and over again. So, like, this is all scores in the 80s. We have 84, 85, 87, 88, and 88. And it's just easier to write it this way than actually write all those numbers out over and over and over again as a giant list. So, as another example, I'll do like this one. This would be over here. This would be like 91, and the 9 is the first digit, so 9, 9. You can see that there's 3 numbers in the 90s, and it would be 91, 95, and 95. These ones down here, this would actually be a 10 and a 0, so 100. So there's 2 100s in that class. Now these are all very helpful because what they can help you do is, I was going to try and erase that, but I'm not going to worry about it anymore. One thing it can help you do is actually, you can look at this really quickly and see that Class B seems to be doing better than Class A. And that's because if here, let me erase this line going across all of it first. You can see how it seems that more of Class B's numbers are kind of down towards the bottom, and that represents scores in the 80s and the 90s and the 100%. Whereas this class seems like most of the numbers are between like this around 8. There's lots in the 6s and the 7s. This one has a lot in the 6, but less in 7. Most of them are in the 8, 9 area. Most of these ones are bunched around 8. So it seems that this class is actually doing a little bit better. It also shows that this class doesn't have any people with scores of 40s. So it's a helpful way to kind of compare two different things, like two different classes easily as well. Here is an example of how you could make a stem and leaf plot. So very quickly, this would be the stem, and this would be the leaf part. If I'm looking at these numbers, it looks like if I'm scrolling across here, my lowest number is a 2, and my highest number is a 34. So I'm going to actually start by going 0, 1, 2, 3. And because these are going to be 2 digits, this would be the first digit and the second digit of these numbers. So for 2, I could say for this number right here, I'm going to say the 0, that's just 2. Then I also have a 9, that's a 1-digit number, so 9. And then I have this is going to be all the teens. Right here would be all the teens. So 11 and 13, and that's it. So I have 11 and I have 13. Remember, you read it like 1, 1 would be 11, 13. and then I could do the 20s. So I have a 28, that's it, so 28. And then the 30s, I have 34 and 37. So 34, 37. That's real quick how you would make a stem and leaf plot. And that's pretty much it. Really, the only other thing that you might be able to use a stem and leaf plot for is easily finding the lowest number or the highest number. The lowest number would be the very, kind of like the very first one listed, so 2 would be the lowest one. If you go all the way down to the bottom of your stem and leaf plot, the very last thing that you wrote would be the highest number. So this goes from 2 to 37, so it's really easy to find the range with these. It's also easier to kind of compare if there's more or less of something. This is really easy to see that there's definitely the lower half of the numbers, there's more of those than the upper half, you know, because there's 4 here, there's 3 up here. You can kind of easily notice things like that. So